ladies and gentlemen, named Ottawa's favorite podcast at the recent Faces.
Well, it's definitely not recent anymore by the time people
music awards, which I think are still going on. I think they're still handing out awards. The award show that never ends.
But I wasn't moving.
Comedian of the year, podcast of the year. It's Jesse and Jenna's Messy Podcast.
It was so funny. Thank you, John. When Jenna was like, I want to leave. My feet are hurting. I was like, we are not moving.
I was hungry. I was hungry and drunk and tired.
We fed you, though, and you don't even remember being fed. The look on your face when my wife handed you a couple of slider cheeseburgers, it was like a kid at Christmas who just got the ultimate Barbie.
I was so hungry.
Amazing. It was a fun night.
It was a fun night.
And before we forget, before we get to our listener letter, come to our Botox party.
Woo-hoo!
I am so excited. It's like my wedding. March 11th at Chrysalis Rejuvenation Clinic. We have an event on Facebook. Go say attending to the event or just send us a message. We'll give you all the deets. But it's the cheapest Botox you'll ever get. And you don't have to get it. If you just want to come learn about it, that's fine too. Jenna's going to get it done for the first time.
And even if there's other procedures you want to learn about other than just Botox, maybe you just want to get a little tune-up. That's what I call it. You just want to get a little tune-up and you don't know where to start. And it can be very intimidating going to one of these offices. But now you've got a bunch of people that are in the same state of mind and all have the same goal. That you can sit there and maybe you'll learn something that you just didn't even know.
It's about health more than vanity.
Right.
We work out our bodies. Why not work out our faces too? So come, you can ask the doctor questions for free. Ask me questions. You know I've been poked and pulled. And look
more
at my
ways
skin.
Than one.
Yes, but have you ever done Botox?
Once or twice. But I barely need concealer anymore because they've helped me so much.
We'll add that link to the Messy Podcast
Thank
website.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Right.
All right, listener letter.
So this is the episode because we do have a lot of new listeners since the
thank
Faces
you.
Magazine Awards, and we didn't do Monday last week. So this is Monday where you can send your letters, whether you have questions, concerns, whatever, to Jesse and Jenna's messypodcast@gmail.com. We bring and we keep you, we protect your identity.
If you want us to.
Right. But we do bring these and we just talk about them. And we're not experts.
It's like safe sex. We'll use somebody else's name.
Right. And we're not experts and we don't claim to be. We just give you our opinion. We had someone on YouTube comment that maybe you guys should do some research. And I go, no, people want our honest opinion.
Oh, there's always that
They
one.
don't
Fuck off.
want to hear what Google tells us and we relay to you. They've already probably Googled it. That's why they're coming to us.
This is like talking to your friends.
So while sometimes we don't know a lot about the subjects, we do give you our opinion and kind of our insight into what we would do.
Yeah.
Which is never the good thing, but
well, sometimes it is.
it at least tells you what not to do.
Well, opinions vary.
Right.
It doesn't get more honest than that, kids.
So dear Messy Podcast, I'm in love with a wonderful man. We always have letters that start this way. I love my man. I love my
And then there's a big fat butt.
Right. We laugh, talk, inspire, and support each other. We hug. We have great sex. We cuddle.
Okay, so count your blessings and go fuck yourself because we're both single as hell.
Moving on. Yeah.
She says he's the one who understands me best. But when he asked me to marry him, I said no. Marriage to me is a death sentence, a path to a joyless, sexless life. Just thinking of marriage sends me into panic attacks. And yes, if you're wondering, my parents are still married. I'm not waiting for something better to come along. I just don't want to get married. What do? I can't imagine my life without him. On the other hand, I can't imagine my life with him. Please dig it down for me.
Yeah, okay.
Please break it down for me. No to nuptials.
I get her. I get it. I get it. Out of the two of us, I was in a long relationship that was marriage status. We had multiple homes together, cars, dogs.
Multiple homes?
Well, apartments.
Calm down there,
homes.
Richie Rich.
I didn't say houses. I said homes. An apartment is a home. And listen.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it, though, right?
Well, okay. Fuck you guys. You know what? We were together a very long time, and I had no intention of breaking up with him. But if I thought about getting married, I'd get the heebie-jeebies, and
Why?
I didn't want to do because it was like handcuffs. Because ultimately we broke up, so it wasn't the healthiest relationship. But the thought of marriage made me feel tied down. Whereas even in a common law situation, if we wanted to break up, I always felt like it was so much easier. I could just fuck off. Okay, we're done. I'm going over here. You're going over there.
Do you think it stems...
And in the end, that's how it happened.
Do you think it stems from how your parents grew up together?
I don't
their
know.
marriage wasn't happy, and so you don't believe in it because you've never seen it firsthand.
Good point. My mom had 2 husbands. And they had the same name. Isn't that weird? But anyway, no, I just didn't. I know that there's financial implications about getting divorced. Even the most amicable divorce is expensive.
But on the other hand, my parents, who've been together since they were 21, when they split up, they had to go through the same procedures that someone getting divorced had to go through.
Well,
I was going to say, isn't common law now pretty much considered the same thing?
Like
the same laws apply?
If you're on the same taxes, if you're filing your
That's
taxes
right.
together.
And if you have assets, like
So
a house.
if you are living with someone and you file your taxes together or you own a house together, when you break up, you do have to split that shit half and half.
Yeah. If
whether you're married or not.
Yes, but let's say, like with me and my ex, I wasn't going to take his couch and I had my own couch. So we split up our property evenly. But if you're married, even if you agree on everything, you still have to pay a lawyer to file the divorce papers, which is like $1,000. So it's expensive any way you slice it. Never mind the divorce. The wedding is expensive.
Right.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Well, it's like my dad always says, because my dad firmly doesn't believe in weddings. He thinks they're horrible. He goes, why am I going to pay like 30 G's for some other people that most of them I don't know to pay, like party on my bill?
Yeah, freeload.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I also think it's very telling that the first point we went to is divorce. Because that's how most marriages end these days.
This is what I don't understand. I know lots of couples that were together, committed relationships, lived together for 10 years. They decided to get married, and then 3 years later, they broke up. So I'm wondering, what is it about that piece of paper? Because that's the only thing that's different, is that now you have a legal piece of paper that binds you together. What is it that changes relationships?
I think it is the psychological handcuffs. Like, you feel like, great, I can't ever leave now.
Or is it that once you get married, all of a sudden you feel like you are really responsible for that person?
Maybe. Like, look at one of the most successful non-married couples of all time, Goldie Hawn and, and Kurt Russell. And they talk about not getting married because they were on Ellen not long ago. And she asked them, why don't you get married? And they're like, we don't want to risk it because of what you just said.
Why fix something that's not broken?
That's it. And if it might make people feel some kind of way, why bother? I don't know.
See, and coming from a family where my parents did not get married, and it was a big issue growing up. I remember my mom really wanting to get married, and I would be downstairs watching TV with my dad, and I'd go upstairs, and my mom would be like, go tell your dad that we should get married. And I remember going down, and my dad would just laugh or whatever.
Well, see, that's the other part, because some people, it's not even a business. You know, marriage started as like a business transaction. The women got sold to another family. So actually, it's very outdated. But these days, I think it's more of a cutesy-pootsy, like nostalgic thing for people.
And a lot of
this... What do you mean, John?
But a lot of this stems, too, from how you watched your parents grow up.
Yeah.
You know, and so me coming from a family, I want to get married.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's always true.
But that's what I mean. But you don't want to get married because you want, like...
I want the ring.
See? The bling.
I want the ring, and I want to look absolutely stunning one day of my life.
Okay, you got me there. I like the idea of the wedding. That is exciting.
Yeah. But it's even more exciting for a woman.
Yes.
Because we pick a gown that we would never in a million years ever wear.
Yeah.
You know, and you get this big fancy ring, and everything's about you. You get your hair and your makeup. At least men, you guys just throw on a tux, and it's just like any other...
Excuse me, when I get married, I'm going to have a gown and I'm going to get my hair and makeup done.
I think we actually got a card at my wedding. Somebody, it was a card or something, but, you know, enjoy your day, Sue. Nobody's looking at the guy in the rented tux.
Right.
Something to do with that.
But now,
it's so true.
A minute ago, something I said, why did you get married? You're the one of the three of us that's married.
What changed?
There's a lot of tradition behind it. There's something about standing up in front of everybody you know and proclaiming it, as opposed to it just sort of...
But no one fucking cares at the wedding. You realize that,
Nobody
right?
cares that you want to suck the same dick the rest of your life, bitch.
The
no
only
one cares.
thing that people care about sitting in that wedding is dancing, getting drunk on your dollar, and eating your food.
Well, yeah. I feel like
every wedding I've been to, the ceremony part is the most boring part.
You say that, and yet you look at a wedding and everybody's in tears. Oh, isn't this
I was
beautiful? Isn't this?
Well, that's because everyone's drunk.
You're such a hard bitch sometimes.
Or it's because everyone's hungover from the party before, like the rehearsal dinner and stuff before. And I don't know about you, when I'm hungover, I cry like
a Kleenex commercial.
Easy.
Why do I have to be here?
Oh my God. Forensic files sometimes. I cry.
I look at my friend's little daughter who's 4 months old, and I get tears in my eye when I'm hungover.
She's a cutie pie.
I don't know what changes. Something changes. There's and Jesse said it. It's a psychological shift that happens.
It's because trick yourselves into thinking that things change. And nothing changes. The only thing that's changed is you have a piece of paper now that officially you two are married.
I mean, it helps if you're going to file taxes together and stuff. I know one of my mom's motivators was because she wanted all of the kids to have this. Because, okay, my older sister had a different father. It was a teenage. Oops. So she married my dad, and she wanted Jasmine, my older sister, to change her last name so all the kids would have the same name, and she would have the same name as her children. But I'm like, that's a bad reason to get married, just to change your last name. But, everyone has their own reasons.
Oh, my wife wishes she still had her last name. She hates writing my name out. She had a whole autograph and everything. It was all stylized, and it just doesn't work with Milky.
Oh, what was her maiden name?
Pyatt.
Oh, Pyatt. See, and the fact that we call it maiden name, come on.
I mean,
That's
there
archaic.
is things
You're right.
about weddings that are outdated. However, I've been to weddings which are just a giant party.
Yeah, and what you said before, I think everyone is like motivated by let's get drunk on your dime, but then when you're there, you do get hit with the feels. Because I'm a cold bitch like you, but sometimes at weddings you have this, and then you wish it could be you, and you think about your wedding one day and stuff. At least I do.
To me, it's never about the wedding itself. It's just when I'm at a wedding and I get all mushy, I'm like, I want to find that.
What's your feeling on the moment that he gets down on one knee and proposes?
I love that. I
Yeah.
would love a man to declare his love for me. It's never happened. Ever.
Not romantic love. We've had a lot of fans.
I've never...
But that's also based in tradition, right? And the only what changes when he does that, as opposed to hands you the key to his apartment and says, you're welcome anytime.
Do you think it's fair, though, for her to be with him even though he wants to get married and she doesn't? I don't think it's fair for her. I think she needs to let him go and find something that he wants.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, it's a personal, what's a deal breaker and what's not. I mean, marriages these days, this is the other thing, argument against them, they take a lot of time and effort.
Right.
Think about us. We can barely find time to sync up to record the podcast if we have no kids, no husband. All we have is full-time jobs.
Right.
So, these days it's asking a lot.
If you've lived together, though, you've already lived the married life.
That's true.
And yet the guy who's married and hosts your podcast, I've always got time for you guys. Sure,
Right.
No problem. I got nothing going on.
Okay, bad example, Jesse. Bad example.
But according to this letter, as much as you love him, and if you want to sometimes you have to give things up in order to be with the person you love.
Yeah.
And this might be one of them. And if you're not willing, if you are so stuck on not getting married, then you need to let him go. Because it's not fair to have him living a life of something he doesn't want.
Well, I'd be curious to see or read why he's so hell-bent on it. Is he
Because
traditional?
a lot
Is he
of
religious?
people are traditional, and I think a lot of people believe in marriage. And especially from men's point, I think it's that official time where they take care of you and they want you,
Remember when we were kids and even being a bastard or like being born...
I was a bastard.
Were you?
And kids used to make fun of me
See,
and
I
call
was
me a
gonna say-
bastard.
I was too, and given up for adoption.
Oh,
Right.
explains so much.
But even though my parents had been together since they were 21 years old, people still called me a bastard and teased me and relentlessly in
And
school.
that was what I was going to say, is that even in our childhood, that was a big deal. Nowadays, I don't think it is so much. So
Right.
it's like that was a
I think
big
that'd
reason.
be fairly commonplace these days.
Yeah, so it's not as big of a deal. Like that was when we were kids. That was like the main reason to get married.
Right.
My mom was a pregnant bride twice. So, what happens when you're a teenager? It's okay.
Do you think then when you first start dating and when there's a connection and you're like, okay, I think I'm going to be with this person for a while, do you think right then and there is when you ask about marriage? Because it sounds like they just waited on the marriage conversation until it was too late. And now she's like, I love him, I'm attached to him, but we don't want the same things. What do I do now?
I mean, it's nice in theory to think it could work that way, but do you know any straight guy that wouldn't run for the hills the minute a girl, hi, it's our third date. What are your thoughts on marriage?
I've had that question asked the first date.
From a man?
Yes.
It's such a stigma.
What's your views on marriage? It's never, do you want to get married? It's, what are your views on marriage?
I think a man can ask that in a straight situation, but the girl can't. It's so bad to say that,
Right.
but I think that's true. Because if a girl asks that to a guy on a date, he's going to think she wants to get married.
Yeah.
Guys tend to
But
be so
even at this
egotistical.
age, that's inappropriate. At the age
Oh,
of 34, I feel like that's a question that's just generally floating above that.
That's probably
date to
valid.
Yeah, I
begin
guess.
That's
with.
probably valid.
And babies, too. Ooh.
Right.
Yeah. I guess at your age.
My age.
I'm a little bit behind.
I just, I know you love him and you want to be with him, but for you to flat out say, I can't picture my life without him, yet I can't picture my life with him, set him free, girl, and go find yourself someone that you can picture that kind of life with. No one's forcing you to be with that person. And there's billions of people in the world that you could go and find that are on the same page as you. It's not fair to this man for you to string him along because you know deep down inside that man is going, I can change her mind over time.
Well,
But you seem so set on it that he can't change his mind over time.
But is her life infinitely more guaranteed to be more exciting and more adventurous, or more, insert whatever subjunctives you want here, because she's married or without the certificate? I mean, any relationship, it comes down to becoming complacent, I think, and that's
interesting point.
Yeah, the longer you're together, the more you become complacent about things, the more you become just accepting of each other, and you grow, right? And you change, and things shift.
Maybe then she could use that to change his mind about getting married, because she can say, if we get married, you're going to get fat because you get complacent. And, well, I'm not talking about you, John, but a study, because I prepared for this episode, and there was a study in the Systems and Health Journal that said men let themselves go as soon as they get married. Because there's this whole stigma about women. Oh, she let herself go. Actually, no, it's the men. This is what it said. After monitoring the eating habits and physical activity of the weights of 2,300 young men, married men were 25% more likely to be significantly overweight than men who were single, or even the ones that were just in a long-term relationship. Why? Nobody knows. But I think it comes down to that married chain down feeling of like, well, she's not going anywhere anyway, and neither am I. So let's have the poutine.
Complacency.
Complacency, yes. So maybe that would scare him out of it. Like, oh no, she's going to become a heifer.
But I don't think everyone's as hooked on looks as you are.
Maybe not.
Right? Like, I mean, when you decide to grow old with someone, you're now picturing them old, where they're picking their balls off the ground.
Yeah, but maybe not fat. That's what this said. You get fat. Or just get fat together.
There has to be something to do with that piece of paper, because you also have the couples that go fuck the wedding, but we just need to be married. And so they go down to City Hall with like two of their closest friends, go down, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and just get the certificate. So that, to me, that piece of paper is the key to whether you want to get married or not. There's something that it represents that scares people.
It represents commitment.
Forever, too. But forever.
You've bought a dog together, for fuck's sakes. How else can you commit?
Well, that only lasts 15, 18 years if you're lucky.
You can commit to renting a house or leasing a car, but when you commit to buy it, it's a different...
It's true. But you're right. This marriage thing has this forever, in sickness and health, until the day you die.
And you proclaim that in front of everybody you know.
Scary.
And see, I see it the opposite way. If you're already committed, then why not? If you have the money to do it, why not?
And it doesn't mean you can't have an open marriage or invite guest stars in. I mean, hey, it's 2020.
We haven't given this girl much advice. We've talked more just about how much we don't like marriage and how much I do love it.
And we just encourage her to open up her marriage.
And there's an idea. Maybe that'll be the solution.
That's your solution to everything.
Yeah.
It's like, just have an open relationship.
On that,
if you're
Jesse and I
troubles.
agree.
That's also what ended my last relationship. So, hey, it doesn't always work.
With you, as much as you love him, and you know what? There's going to be many people in your life that you love and care for that you have to let go. And I think he's just one of them. Because it's just not fair to him if he so strongly believes in getting married and you know it's never going to happen. Cut it. End it now.
Yeah, is this a deal breaker for both of you, or will one
That's
of
a
you
good question.
Will one of you budge if it means breaking up?
Right. How many times have you had this discussion? And every time that you've had this discussion, has it resulted in the same answer on each part?
Yeah.
If you're sitting there talking about an issue in circles constantly with your partner, you aren't on the same track.
No.
And eventually you're going to have to break that up.
Did we find out how long they were together?
She didn't say.
Oh, okay.
She didn't
but
say.
A while. But she really likes him.
Well, and she says she can picture her life
with him.
She can't picture her life without him, but she can't picture her life with him. So to me, that's saying that
maybe it's not the right one.
It's
maybe
just
you're forcing
not the right one.
Yeah, there's definitely some ambivalence there.
Or
right?
maybe he's the right one for her, but she's not the right one for him. And if that's the case, you have to set him free. And what's that little saying? It goes,
if you love him, set them free.
And if they come back, then it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Does she say if either have been married before?
No.
You know what? You just
But she says she came from a family with parents that were married.
You
Doesn't
just,
mean it was happily, but you know.
Speaking of not happily, you gave me a dark memory from my childhood because my dad used to have this tool room, and on the wall he had a poster that said that if you love something, set it free, and if it doesn't come back, ... hunt it down and kill it.
Oh.
It was a hunting thing, but I was like, woo! When you put that in a romantic situation.
Right.
No wonder my parents split up. Hello.
I don't think Hallmark has a card for that.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's many cases of people that have been with someone that they thought they were going to spend the rest of their life with.
Sure.
And something happens where they break up. And then you know what? At the end, they turn out to actually find that person they were meant to be with.
Yeah.
So this might be the case for you. I just don't think I'm taking the man's side on this. I don't think it's fair for you to be in a relationship with him when you know you're so dead set on not getting married and it's something that he really wants. And for men, maybe it is an ownership thing, or maybe it's a commitment thing, or whatever it may be. But I don't think it's fair to him. And the longer you lead it on, the harder it's going to be to end.
Well, similar to your parents took a year off and they
Right.
found out they missed each other and they got back together. That could happen to you. And maybe he'll realize
Right.
it's not as important to have the paper, I want to be with you, or vice versa.
And relationships are almost about inconveniencing yourself to convenience the other person. There's some things that you need to, be a little bit more flexible on in order to keep that person happy. And as the love of your life, you should want to do those things.
Any relationship's a constant negotiation. isn't
Like
it?
if I was, like if I was to date a hunter, I don't really like hunting. I don't like it. I
Yep.
think it's weird
Yep.
and I think it's creepy.
Yeah.
But, if I loved him enough, I'd be like, okay, you can have your hunting. Don't involve me in it. And it's just something that I would accept and be flexible on because I love that person so much that I want them in my life. It's not a deal breaker.
Kind of like how John's wife doesn't mind that he's a drag queen from time to time.
Exactly. But, like in your scenario.
She does, though, because I have nicer clothes than she does sometimes, and it's starting to upset her.
Right.
Oh, God.
But no to nuptials. Like, is this something that you can be flexible on in order to please your partner?
Yeah.
Or is this something that you just can't cope with? And if it is, your answer is you got to get out of that relationship.
And when you have that conversation, then maybe he'll change his mind or not, and then it's not meant to be.
And also maybe think about what is it about marriage? She said, I feel like I'm in handcuffs. I feel like it's a thing to unhappiness. Well, then maybe put a little effort into it and stop just going along with the stereotypes.
That's an important conversation. What are his reasons for wanting to? What are her reasons for not?
Right.
Right. Oh, sorry, I forgot what I
And
was
do
saying.
they align, and can they be...
Right.
Can they address each other, and can they be canceled out? And then really what's left at the end of that
Well,
pile?
ask yourself, what is it about marriage that you don't like?
Yeah.
And if it's things like cost and this and that, then maybe go back to the drawing board and, hey, how about we go to City Hall? Or
Yeah.
how about we do something small? Let's do a vacation wedding with our
Yes,
closest
do
friends.
that. Do that.
Right?
Whatever you do, don't have a Catholic wedding because those are so long and drawn out, right? Stand, sit
Dan,
down,
so you,
sit
at least
down.
you work on your squats.
Do an Indian wedding. They go on for days, but you can get up and walk around, have chicken. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah, fine. And there's no crucifix because Catholics, by the end of it, you're looking up at the crucifix thinking he's the lucky one.
Right? I wish it was me.
Can we dance now?
You've told that joke before, I
Right.
think.
It's in the act.
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
You look at the water that they baptize people in and you're like, just drown me now. Just drown me in that water. Dip my head and hold it down.
Oh, God.
But, I think you need to ask yourself really the reasons why you don't like marriage and maybe then make a list, like a physical list, and then go back and evaluate how important. Because sometimes I think when we do get comfortable in a relationship, little things that bother us, when you put them on paper, they're not that
That's right. They're
big
not a
of an
big
issue.
deal.
It's just you being an asshole, finicky, all those things.
Never mind marriage. This is how I know I need a date is because when you just said dip my head and hold it down, I was like, woo, that sounds fun.
You got a half chub.
Yeah, I did.
What about counsel? What about counseling for a couple like this?
Yeah,
To get somebody
yeah.
Is it
impartial.
worth it? If you literally
Sure.
don't agree on such a major subject, why spend money?
Any coaching is worth it, I think.
Maybe to get to the bottom of why it's so important to
Yeah.
you one way or
I
another.
don't think
Yeah.
that's couples counseling. I think that's her counseling. She needs to figure out what it is about marriage that has her so
scared.
against it.
But a counselor will get to that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe she needs to just figure it out on her own. It's hard to get into a relationship with someone when you don't know yourself well enough.
Now, wait a minute. You want to get married or no?
I do.
But if you were in love with a guy and he really didn't, would that be a deal breaker for you?
No.
Yeah, see, I'm the same. I'm neither here
As
nor
long
there.
as you buy me a ring.
I was just going to
Just
say
a ring.
that.
Just a ring.
Seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you should see
That's fair.
You should see all the jewelry.
So you're happy with a promise ring?
It's a commitment. It's
Instead
still
of-
a commitment.
Right.
Not a promise ring. I'm not in high school.
Well, okay, but what would you?
I want a big ass fucking diamond weigh my hand down ring.
But what would you call it then if it's not an engagement ring and it's not
my
a wedding ring?
My ring.
It's a ring.
It's
okay.
my
Commitment,
ring.
commitment ring.
Commitment ring.
This is my security deposit.
Right. If you dump me and
If
leave
you
me
dump
in a lurch.
me, since you're not, since
I
we
cashed
can't
this
split
in,
stuff
yeah.
50-50, this is how I'm going to live the rest of my life.
But what if you really
Because
love
of
that
course
ring?
the man that I'm marrying is so rich that I don't have to work anymore.
I see.
Maybe that's our problem. Can't get a date. Our criteria is too high.
No, I'm just
Six
joking.
figures.
I would love to. I could never not work. We did it for a year and it drove me bonkers.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to be able to focus more energy into my passions, maybe.
But see, that's why I would love a sugar daddy or like a rich husband, because then I could just go do my plays and my comedy shows and my stuff that makes no money, you know?
Right. But yeah, I think she really needs to figure herself or her shit out because she's got something going on there. Like, I don't know if it's post-traumatic relationship disorder or what it is that has turned her
Well,
so
maybe
off
she's
of
the
marriage.
one that's got commitment issues.
Well, that's why I asked if she'd been married before.
Yeah.
We don't know.
But I mean, if at the end of the day, if you still like make a list of why you don't like marriage and can't get over those things and you're dead set on it, you need to let him go. He deserves, everyone deserves, whoever it is deserves to be happy and deserves to get what they want in life. And if you can't provide him with it, then he needs to find someone who can.
It's a good suggestion, and I really believe that if you guys truly are in love, then when you present that option to him, he's going to say, well, no, like, maybe it's okay, or we can wait a bit longer.
I still think that you can really love someone unconditionally and still set them free because if you love them that much and you can't provide them with what will make them happy, then only love would make you let them go. Holy shit, that was
That's
deep.
a rom-com waiting to happen.
Are we putting that on a T-shirt?
I don't know because it didn't come
No,
out very smooth.
Oh, we can.
But you know what I mean, right? If
Madge
you
can fix that.
If you truly love someone and you know that you can't give them what makes them happy, then the one thing to do if you really love them is
Well, that's,
go.
again,
Yeah,
a
no, I
nice
know what you're
theory,
saying.
but it's how many people do that, you know?
well, because we get so wrapped up in our own selfish
Yeah.
needs and wants in a
Oh, sure.
relationship.
And the fear of being alone and getting back into that
Yeah.
whole.
But I guarantee
Would anybody want me?
it wouldn't be the first breakup due to the fact that I can't give you what you want. I've been broken up. Well, no.
Jenna, I've always been the dumper.
No, I've always gotten dumped.
Yeah.
I've always been left for other women.
Oh, gosh.
It's true. And a lot of them, well, no, never mind. I'm a horrible example. I feel like I have all this great relationship advice. However, I've had the worst relationships in my life.
That's why you have a podcast,
Yeah.
to spew it out.
Yeah. But you know that one guy I dated that I was like head over heels and really crushed over,
Yeah.
he dumped me because he was like, I cannot give you what you deserve.
Which was true because he had a baby mama and he had a kid already.
Right.
And it was
there,
too
it
much
was
for
very
you.
confusing and
That's right.
you know, and as frustrating as that was for me, I can see why he did it.
Sure.
Because I think he
wasn't fair
did
to
care
you.
about me that much.
Oh.
Because, you know, he got back together with his ex-girlfriend after, and I creeped his Facebook page the other day. Yeah, I did. And he doesn't have any pictures up with her, so he's obviously not happy.
The baby mama he got back with.
Yeah.
That's a whole
No,
other
not
episode.
not the baby mama.
Oh,
The
was it
girl.
diff-
He was never with the baby mama. That was a
Oh.
one-night stand. Oops.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, but the girlfriend before me, I looked, and he doesn't have a single picture with her. And that, to me, is a telltale sign that you weren't happy with someone.
Either that or you're a big playa because you like other girls to think you're single
No,
still.
he just had pictures of his kid,
Oh.
right? So,
Well, that could be a chick magnet, like the puppies.
right.
Did you see that viral video of the Uber driver carrying a puppy around?
He was hot, too.
He was hot. Both of them. Yeah.
They both could have sat in my lap.
So
long
good
as
luck.
You were good at it.
Good luck, no to nuptials.
Right.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Get it? He was both sit in my lap as long as the guy was also.
Good at it?
I don't know what.
Are you
going to
wear a strap on
I
now?
don't
What do you mean?
know. It wasn't. That's not what my mind was going. That didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Okay.
I know.
That's why I had to go back there.
I know.
All right.
But please send your emails. I hope we give you some sort of guidance.
Something to think about, maybe.
I really think you need to my solution for you is to create that list of why you don't like marriage. And then go through that list and go, okay, it's expensive. Well, if we can afford it, then I can throw that. That's not a good enough reason.
Yeah.
Next one. And at the end of that list, process of elimination, you haven't come to a conclusion or you still hate marriage, you need to break up with him.
Sure.
Yeah.
And as for him, if you're going to play this for him, he needs to make a list of why it's so important to him and realize that most marriages end in divorce, so it shouldn't be that important. And he's going to get fat anyway.
Oh, fuck, Jesse.
So scare him out of it.
God.
Okay, can we go? I need a refill.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.